If you have the GuideSafe app on your phone, you're already taking extra steps to ensure you and your loved ones are staying as safe as possible from coronavirus exposure. Today, some new updates were announced for the app. Our Sydney Stallworth tells us how these changes could help stop the spread.
This is just another piece of technology. This is just another weapon, if you will, that we have in our arsenal to battle this very severe disease that we are encountering and really having a second wave of at the moment.
The GuideSafe app has some important updates. The app is now connected to the Association of Public Health Laboratories National Verification Server, which means users can get information and updates from that source too, making things a lot more accurate.
This will add another layer of protection.
Dr. Landers says 13 states and the District of Columbia are connected to the app and the server so far, and this could be crucial as the holidays are approaching and people are still expected to travel. Now the app includes UAB's anonymous and encrypted test verification technology. That's thanks to some CARES Act funding, and it basically means now you can get out-of-state notifications. About 150,000 people in Alabama have downloaded the app so far, but only 350 positive cases have been documented using the app. That's why experts say they need more users.
Only through wide adoption and use can we give ourselves and others the best chance for the app to make a considerable impact.
And apparently it just takes a few minutes, so let's download it. After agreeing to the terms and deciding whether or not to enable notifications, you're good to go. The app allows you to anonymously report your COVID-19 test results and anonymously alert other people if you think you've been exposed.
It is a win when we have a case identified, and it is a win when we have the ability to notify those persons.
You can find more information on the GuideSafe app on RocketCityNow.com. Putting the Valley first, I'm Sydney Stallworth, WZDX News.